Andy Cohen makes a shocking reveal about Kyle Richards and PK. Andy Cohen dropped a major bombshell about Kyle Richards' friendship with Paul PK Kemsley in the trailer for the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills Season 14 reunion. "You went back to your room in Oceanside and called PK," the reunion host asked Kyle in one moment from the teaser video, which you can check out at the top of this post. Kyle shrugged in response to the "Watch What Happens Live with Andy Cohen" host's question, seemingly confirming that she did communicate with Dorit Kemsley's estranged husband during the group trip. Garcelle's mouth dropped in shock at the admission. "Can you just wrap your head around how f***ed up that is?" Dorit said to Kyle and fellow cast members Garcelle, Erica Jane, Sutton Strack, Bazoma St. John, as well as friends Kathy Hilton and Jennifer Tilly. Andy mentioned Dorit's husband's name in another moment from the trailer as well. When discussing Dorit's viral smoking moment from the Season 14 premiere, Andy wondered, "Kyle, did PK send you a meme about it?" "No," Kyle responded. Will PK Kemsley appear on the rhobh Season 14 reunion? Though husbands do often pop up during Real Housewives reunions, PK did not attend the rhobh Season 14 reunion taping on February 28. "We asked PK if he wanted to appear today," Andy said in the trailer. "He sent a statement." "Did he?" Dorit responded in surprise. Viewers will have to tune in to find out what PK said in his statement about the reunion. Are Kyle Richards and PK Kemsley still friends? Kyle and PK do not text each other anymore out of respect for Kyle's relationship with Dorit. As viewers saw on rhobh Season 14, Dorit and some of the other ladies took issue with the fact that Kyle and PK had continued to text one another after he announced his separation. Kyle explained her side of the story on the February 4 episode of WAVHL. "I can see where it would seem suspicious," Kyle admitted, specifically referencing the portion of the message where she said she would not repeat anything that PK had told her. "I was having a hard time explaining on camera that here we just started shooting the season, so when you do what we do, people get scared to talk and say things, especially when the cameras have just come up." Andy Cohen makes a shocking reveal about Kyle Richards and PK Kemsley. The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills Season 14 reunion drama unveiled. The highly anticipated Season 14 reunion of The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, rhobh, promised fans an emotionally charged gathering with secrets, surprises, and shocking revelations. But nothing could have prepared viewers for the bombshell dropped by none other than Andy Cohen himself during an intense moment in the reunion trailer. The host's casual yet direct questioning sparked one of the most jaw-dropping moments of the entire season, and it involved none other than Kyle Richards and her complicated relationship with Paul PK Kemsley. The shocking reveal. Andy Cohen's game-changing question. The reunion trailer was an immediate hit, teasing plenty of drama and tension between the ladies, but the scene with Andy Cohen's explosive question set the internet ablaze. As the group of rhobh ladies gathered in a sleek, opulent Beverly Hills venue, the tension was palpable. Everyone was on edge, ready for Andy to take the reins and dig into the heart of the season's most volatile moments. The reunion was already shaping up to be dramatic, but in one particular moment, Andy turned to Kyle Richards and bluntly asked, "You went back to your room in Oceanside and called PK." The words hung in the air, almost like a slow-motion bombshell being detonated. Kyle, always composed and seemingly unfazed, simply shrugged in response, adding a layer of mystery to the question. The reaction from the rest of the room was instant. Garcelle Beauvais's mouth dropped open in shock, unable to mask her surprise. The unspoken question loomed. What exactly was going on between Kyle and PK? Why was Kyle contacting Dorit Kemsley's estranged husband during a group trip? Kyle's reaction, or lack thereof, spoke volumes. As a longtime friend of Dorit Kemsley, her communication with PK after his marriage troubles had been a topic of discussion in recent episodes. However, this moment raised serious concerns. Was Kyle crossing boundaries in a way that was unthinkable to some of her friends? Could it be that the friendship with PK had become more complicated than it appeared on camera? As the shockwaves of Andy's question rippled through the room, Dorrit Kemsley, seated among the group, could barely hide her disbelief. In a sharp, pointed tone, she retorted, "Can you just wrap your head around how depth that is?" Dorrit's frustration was evident, her emotions raw, as she grappled with the realization that her friend Kyle had been in touch with her husband behind closed doors. This single moment encapsulated the intensity of what would become a season-defining confrontation, a conflict that would test the boundaries of friendship, loyalty, and trust within the rhobh crew. Unpacking the drama, the underlying tension. To truly understand the magnitude of Andy Cohen's question, we need to take a step back and analyze the underlying tensions that had been brewing all season. As rhobh's fans had witnessed, Kyle and PK's interactions had become a point of contention among the women, particularly after PK's separation from Dorrit was publicly announced. The initial assumption among the group was that Kyle and PK shared a friendship that crossed certain lines, especially considering Dorrit's emotional state during her marital crisis. The tension between Kyle and Dorrit had been simmering all season long, and the revelation that Kyle and PK had continued texting, despite the looming separation, was a bone of contention among the group. Dorrit, who had been dealing with the pain of her separation from PK, found it difficult to accept that Kyle would maintain such a close connection with her estranged husband. Kyle tried to explain herself on Watch What Happens Live, WWHL, acknowledging the appearance of impropriety but insisting that the friendship between her and PK was not what it seemed. "I can see where it would seem suspicious," Kyle confessed during her February 4 appearance on WWHL, addressing the fallout from her continued communication with PK. She explained that, at the time, she was trying to navigate the complexities of the situation, where the cameras had just started rolling and emotions were running high. "I was having a hard time explaining on camera that here we just started shooting the season," Kyle said, further clarifying that in the chaotic environment of filming, it wasn't always easy to express the nuances of her relationships with the other housewives. The aftermath, Garcelle and Dorrit's shocked reactions. The reunion continued to build in intensity as Andy pressed further. He made another pointed comment, this time referencing PK's viral smoking moment from the season 14 premiere. "Kyle, did PK send you a meme about it?" Andy asked. The question was innocent enough, but it carried with it the weight of unspoken history that, as it turned out, wasn't easily forgotten. Kyle responded with a simple no, but her answer didn't quell the growing storm in the room. The idea of PK sending Kyle a meme about his viral moment only added fuel to the fire, as it hinted at a level of familiarity and casualness between the two that seemed far too intimate for comfort. Was this just playful banter between friends, or was there something more beneath the surface? At this point, Dorrit's frustration reached a boiling point. She had been enduring whispers and rumors for weeks, but nothing could have prepared her for the onslaught of uncomfortable truths that were about to unfold. Her voice trembled as she addressed the room. "Can you just wrap your head around how depth that is?" The tension in her voice was palpable, and it became clear that she was grappling with the betrayal she felt from her longtime friend. Garcelle, always one to express her shock in the most candid way, couldn't hide her reaction either. The gasp that escaped her lips was a silent but powerful testament to the gravity of what had just been revealed. Kyle, a seasoned reality TV star, had always managed to keep her cool until now. This was uncharted territory, even for someone as experienced as her. The absence of PK Kemsley, a void in the reunion. As the reunion began to heat up, the topic of PK Kemsley's presence, or lack thereof, became another pivotal point of discussion. Despite the fact that many of the husbands had made appearances at reunions past, PK was conspicuously absent. Andy Cohen dropped another bombshell in the trailer, revealing that PK had been invited to the reunion taping, but had declined to appear in person. "We asked PK if he wanted to appear today," Andy explained, his voice tinged with an almost playful curiosity. "He sent a statement." The revelation was enough to send a ripple of surprise through the cast, especially Dorrit, who responded with a stunned, "Did he?" The curiosity surrounding PK's statement only deepened the intrigue. Why had PK chosen to communicate through a statement rather than face the music? What had he said in his written message, and why had he opted to avoid the uncomfortable confrontation that had taken over the reunion set?